engines! Stay tuned for Stirling engine build part 2. Let's get this baby running.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Okay, with the crank facing with the stroke downward for the displacer piston, you want to have it facing downward, remember, and you're about 1 inch away from where the crank is, from where the stroke is going down. For your cold piston, you want to go a 45-degree angle. Remember, not 90. Now you could do a 90 and it would run at a 90, but then you're going to have to readjust where your cold piston is placed on your engine. You have to adjust the rod, like the rod stroke travel, if you decide to do a 90 rather than a 45 bend. Like I said, a 90-degree bend would work, because I have some engines that do run at a 90-degree angle, but it just depends on what adjustments you're going to make in order to make it work. Once you make the engine run, you could always play with them and do different things that you want. Once you have a running engine, you get more knowledge, so you can do more things with them. Okay? And there's how your crank should look. I mean, give or take. Of course, as you do it, you'll adjust it. But what you want to accomplish is you want to accomplish a 90-degree for your displacer piston and a 45 for your power piston, what they call the cold piston. But of course, as you do it, you want things to run straight, so that's what you see me doing, is making sure when I do put it in to the can, I don't have a wobbly engine, because I can't stand that. But as long as she runs, you just want her to run. You could always adjust her as you go along. Okay, so then you just take her, you go ahead and install her into your engine. Into your, not your engine, but into the head. Just want to be careful, because remember, it's can you're working with, so you want to try to do it without making holes as big as possible. It's just there, like that. Then you fit it right in. And then she goes in like that. Now this here I'm using is for the rod. It's a connecting rod that connects to the crank. It connects like that, and then your piston's going to be running up, connecting to the connecting rod. This connecting rod, I'm going to have a link to actually build it to these connecting rods. You can design them how you want, what you want to use to connect it, but I'll have a link to show you how to build this connecting rod. It's really simple. How I usually do this one is as I'm putting her through. At that time, I'll be putting the connecting rod It's just easier than having to do everything while it's all together. You can do it while you're putting it together, makes it easier in the long run. want to see her do an easy spin. Like you want to see her do that easily. Once she does that easily, you know that it'll be okay. As far as this goes here. But then you want to also make sure that she spins easily once the piston's inside. So then you know that that's there like that. So then you just want to make sure service holes so you're able to adjust her where you want her to be. So once again, mark where you're going to start cutting and away from you. It doesn't have to be a huge drastic cut. You just want to cut enough to where you can be able to adjust her, or if your piston drops down into the engine, you actually can fix it without having to go through a lot of trouble. Okay, there's your service hole. So you can do it by eye. That's how I usually do it by eye, where it's going to be, and you see it came out perfectly. But it's up to how you want to do it. If you want to do like a major, measurement on where it is, but you can do that by eye because the engine's going to run no matter what, where you put like the adjustment hole. As long as you can get it easy for you, that's all that matters. Okay, so next. When the engine dries, we're going to get the engine and then it'll be adjusting her. This is going to be your cylinder. Actually your cylinder not your cylinder itself, but your cylinder wall that contains the piston. So this is going to be actually on top of that elbow. It's actually, you can get a seasoning container. If you get a seasoning container will fit perfectly. Just match your elbow with her, outline the elbow, and then cut the hole out that fits your elbow. I would get her, but she's in the middle of drying. So just cut the hole, make sure it fits the elbow. And then I'm gonna be showing you in a minute, once the silicone dries, I'm gonna be showing you how to put the silicone inside and outside to make sure she's sealed completely, because you want the cold piston to be sealed completely. But in the meantime, while she's drying, we can go ahead and put on the pennies I told you we're going to be cutting the 2mm holes into. We'll go ahead and install those. If you see some old silicone on these, it's because I had them on another engine I had, so I was just putting these on because this is just easier. Doesn't make the steps any different, same steps. I just had mine laying around, so I just use the ones I already have. As you have your screwdriver, you just screw it in. With your screwdriver on one side, your pliers on the other side. If you have a bolt, if you're using 2 bolts, or a nut and a bolt, is what I mean to say, sorry, then you use a wrench on one side, a pliers, or pliers and a socket, 2 sockets, however, whatever you're using, you just use 2 tools. If you see I'm grabbing one screwdriver on that side, and this side I'm using to tighten it, just to hold it in place, so that when you're doing this, a lot of mistakes are while they're in the middle of doing this, they just turning one side, the other side's not locked, twisting the balloon, causing an air leak. So if you hold this tight like this, or whatever you have, you hold one side. If you have help, have somebody else hold another side. You just want a tight seal with the balloon. If you need to let out excess pressure, you could always let out excess pressure. You could always tap a hole into your elbow with a bolt, maybe poke one hole in the balloon. but pressure will come along because it'll make its own holes after time, after running. And there you have it. That's your finished balloon. That's how you make a balloon. So if you're wondering, if you saw this came into play, this, don't worry everybody, say no to drugs. This is flour. Just all purpose flour. Reason for this is overheat, expansion, hot, cold, and then you have air, just humidity, temperatures, and more heat. Your balloon tends to get weak and will get holes, but why make it get holes prematurely? So you take the all-purpose flour and you want to go around your balloon and inside. It gives it life so you don't have to change the balloon every week. My Stirlings, I run them all the time. I mean all the time, so I run them for friends, for family, for myself. So I replace my balloons at least once every month. I need a balloon, which is not often considering balloons is $1 for one whole pack. Okay, and that's it. Just dust off your balloon. Get your evidence out of the way. I'm just kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Before you do that, you might as well put this on because you're going to be using this connector to put here because the connecting rod for the cold piston is going to connect to it. So you might as well install that puppy now. Why wait? So you're not looking for parts when we get ready to put her together. Because the last step is, once the cooler dries, we're going to be putting her together and running her together at the same time, hopefully. And if you do have any trouble getting her running, just send me a link below, ask me what is the problem with your engine, and I'll let you know what it is. Just send me a picture of it or a little video of what it's doing or how and the build, and I'll let you know how to get it running. Be back with you shortly.
Been a while out for the weekend. Me, myself, and I,